Do you know who all have been the presidents of the United States? This nation's journey has been shaped by a unique mix of leaders, each leaving their indelible mark on history. Today, we're embarking on a fascinating tour through time, meeting each of these individuals who've held the highest office in the land. From the founding fathers to the modern changemakers, we'll revisit their stories and contributions. So without further ado, let us dive into the annals of American history. Starting from the very beginning, we have George Washington, the first U.S. president who served from 1789 to 1797. Washington, a man of many firsts, set the precedent for what it means to be commander-in-chief. Next, we have John Adams, who served from 1797 to 1801. A brilliant diplomat and one of the key figures in drafting the Constitution, Adams's presidency was marked by foreign policy challenges. Then comes Thomas Jefferson, holding office from 1801 to 1809. A polymath, Jefferson authored the Declaration of Independence and doubled the size of the U.S. with the Louisiana Purchase. Next is James Madison, president from 1809 to 1817. Known as the father of the Constitution, Madison's tenure saw the War of 1812. James Monroe, who served from 1817 to 1825, is famous for the Monroe Doctrine, a significant moment in American foreign policy. John Quincy Adams, son of John Adams, served from 1825 to 1829, followed by Andrew Jackson from 1829 to 1837, whose presidency was marked by the controversial Indian Removal Act. Martin Van Buren, the first president born a U.S. citizen, served from 1837 to 1841, followed by William Henry Harrison, who sadly passed away just a month into his term in 1841. John Tyler, the first vice president to become president due to the death of his predecessor, served from 1841 to 1845. Then we have James K. Polk and Zachary Taylor, followed by Millard Fillmore, who served until 1853. And with that, we've covered the first half of the 19th century, moving on to the latter half. Now we move on to Franklin Pierce, our 14th president, who took office in 1853. He was followed by James Buchanan, the only bachelor president, who witnessed the nation teeter on the brink of civil war. Next came Abraham Lincoln, the 16th president, whose leadership during the Civil War was instrumental in preserving the Union. His successor, Andrew Johnson, became president following Lincoln's assassination and faced the monumental task of Reconstruction. Ulysses S. Grant, a Civil War hero, took office in 1869, followed by Rutherford B. Hayes, who ended Reconstruction and attempted to reconcile the divisions left by the Civil War. James Garfield's presidency was cut tragically short by an assassin's bullet, and Chester A. Arthur assumed the role. Grover Cleveland made history as the only president to serve two non-consecutive terms. Then came the era of William McKinley, Theodore Roosevelt, and William Howard Taft, who steered the nation into the 20th century. Woodrow Wilson, who led America through World War I, was followed by Warren G. Harding, Calvin Coolidge, and Herbert Hoover, who was president as the Great Depression began. As we move into the 20th century, we see leaders who faced unprecedented challenges and changes. And now we enter the modern era, starting with Franklin D. Roosevelt, who took office in 1933. Known for his New Deal and leading the nation during the tumultuous times of World War II, Roosevelt served an unprecedented 4 terms. Next, we find Harry S. Truman, who ended World War II with the controversial decision to drop atomic bombs on Japan. He's followed by Dwight D. Eisenhower, the World War II general turned president, who steered the nation through the Cold War's early days. John F. Kennedy, the youngest elected president, charmed the nation with his charisma before his tragic assassination. Lyndon B. Johnson then took the reins, championing civil rights while navigating the Vietnam War. Richard Nixon, forever associated with the Watergate scandal, resigned before impeachment. Gerald Ford, his successor, is the only person to have served as both vice president and president without being elected to either office. Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and Bill Clinton navigated the end of the Cold War, economic ups and downs, and the start of the digital age. George W. Bush and Barack Obama faced the challenges of 9/11, wars in the Middle East, and the Great Recession. Donald Trump, a businessman turned reality TV star, was the first president with no prior military or political experience. And finally, we reach Joe Biden, a longtime senator and vice president, now leading the nation. And that brings us to today, with our current president of the United States. So, there you have it. From George Washington to the current leader, each president has left their unique imprint on our nation. Their decisions, victories, and challenges have collectively shaped America's history. And that was a brief journey through the history of U.S. presidents. Stay curious and keep exploring history, folks.